But while all the other departments of the state had to be fighting for every dollar, because of Amendment 23, K-12 got automatic increases year after year after year. And you know what's really poisonous about this? Because the same rule applies. The golden rule applies. The state legislature, the state now funds about 65% of K-12 funding, which used to be all funded at the local level through property taxes. State boards, local school boards are almost irrelevant. The state legislature is now becoming the state school board. We're going to be more and more making rules. And you go, I went to a Cherry Creek School District meeting recently about this, and I kind of brought this subject up, and believe me, it's pretty touchy to talk in front of all those teachers and administrators about this, because of course many of them supported that. But it's frightening. You know, I've kind of rambled here, but, you know, I am so pleased to see you guys out here. I'll close with this. I saw some polling data recently that makes it look like this year could be better for Republicans than 1994 was, when under Newt Gingrich, they swept out the old gang in Washington and they took over the House of Representatives at the federal level. Now, it looks significantly better than it did at an equivalent time back in 1994. But let me tell you something, folks. November's a long ways off. And, you know, we're not going to do this by everyone sitting on their hands and thinking they're going to win. You know, when I go out and campaign, you know, when I run, I've raised at this point about $30,000 bucks, which is good. I've got some envelopes around here somewhere. If you'd like to contribute, that'd be great, because I'm in a competitive seat now. This used to be a safe seat, and by the way, you're right in the middle of my district right now. But I knocked on about 10,000 doors. So, plus I got a business to run. So, you know, folks, get out there and help. Get out and volunteer and become active, and that's why it's so thrilling to see so many new faces here. But don't let this energy die. So, I really appreciate Chris and the other people Gary, who put this on today. It's a pleasure to be here with you this morning, and I look forward to speaking with some of you at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, we do have standing room only in the back. If you wouldn't mind moving over, we probably got about 25 people looking for chairs.
We got some great.
Got two in the front. Got a bunch up here.
Republican, party of 5.
How about principled conservative party of 5?
Conservatives, party of about 10 million. Come on, let's go.
All right, guys, just keep the program moving here. I'd like to borrow from our president again just to check the temperature of the room. Fired up and ready to go?
Yeah!
That's not going to get it done. Fired up and ready to go?
Yeah!
Remember when we were talking before, hands in the air, looking at the person on your left and on your right. That's who's going to turn this country around, and that's who's going to get it done. Our next speaker, I'm thrilled to have her here. I'm not an attorney, and quite frankly, I'm probably not the lower 10% smartest guy in the room. So I like it when people whittle things down to what I understand. And one thing Carol says that I love, and I've heard her speak many times, is jails are full and crime is down. Yeah. And I like the sounds of that. Carol, for those of you that don't know her, is the district attorney for Colorado's 18th Judicial District, which encompasses Arapahoe, Douglas, and Elbert County. She's actually a big champion of tough prosecution of criminals. I'll let her talk more about that. And she has married her husband, Nathan's here. We're thrilled that he joined us as well. And please welcome to the podium, Carol Chambers.
Thank you. Well, Chris asked me to talk about something that I'm passionate about, and that is so easy. I am passionate about justice, I am passionate about reform, and I am passionate about accountability for me and for everybody else in government. You hear a lot on a continuous basis about the executive branch. You hear a lot about the legislative branch, but I want to ask you how much you hear about what is going on in our branch of government, in the judicial branch. And the problem is, we're just not really getting a lot of accountability there. The Supreme Court, I would argue, is the most powerful branch of government in the state of Colorado, the judicial branch. And why is that true? Because they should be a co-equal branch of government with the legislature and the executive branch. I'm going to tell you why it's true, in part because they believe they have the last say on anything, and they do. But it's also true because they've not been held accountable, and because, I'm sorry if there's any members of the press here, but they are in bed with the Denver Post. And when they moved into the Denver Post building and started paying the Denver Post rent, so that they bailed out the Denver Post and the fourth branch of government, the fourth estate that's supposed to be watching the rest of government is being saved by one of the branches of government. How inappropriate is that? And I tried to get Westward to speak about it. I tried to get other people to talk about it. I'm amazed at that arrangement, and nobody's saying one word. Now, I am an attorney, so the Supreme Court of the state of Colorado controls what I say about them. And if I say anything that they don't like, that they think is not true, they're coming after me. So my free speech is limited in some ways, but I got to tell you, I feel strongly enough about this that I'm going to say I'm talking anyway, because I am seeing too much. There's too much going on that needs to be brought to the public's attention. I don't see the Denver Post doing it. I don't see anybody else who's willing to take on. I mean, that's a powerful, powerful partnership. The Denver Post and the Colorado Supreme Court. Wow. And you just do not see judges taking any hits in the press unless they're doing something illegal, frankly. So I want to tell you, anybody thinks that I'm just saying these things because I'm a conservative and I don't like it when judges don't agree with me. I'm going to tell you that there's been 2 judges in our jurisdiction who I have campaigned and pushed to be removed. One because he was just blatantly abusive, just horribly abusive to pro se defendants. They would come into court and they would, this judge would not speak clearly, and they would ask him to repeat himself, and he would just berate them and abuse them and bully them. And I went to the defense bar and I said, you have got to come in and watch this guy, and you have got to do something about this. And that judge is no longer in office. We also had a judge who, there's a opinion about him. Golly, 8 minutes goes past. There's an opinion about him where he said to a defense attorney, hey, you've got to keep your co-counsel on a short leash. And the Supreme Court said, no, you cannot say that to a defense attorney. You have to recuse yourself or take yourself off that case. Well, boy, our judges say, did you read in the paper what our judges say about us? I am called unethical by a judge in in Lincoln County. He says we are wasting our money on by prosecuting the death penalty. He accuses us of hiding evidence when he has the defense attorneys on this case tell him that we haven't produced a document. And that they've never seen this document, that they just got it. And Susan Green did a big piece on this, accusing me of hiding evidence. Well, it turns out that the defense had seen that document, that they had gotten it, they were supposed to produce it to us, not vice versa, and they had given it to the judge. So the judge is making comments on the record saying, all hell is going to break loose, this is a travesty. When in fact, he's in possession of the very document. He's accusing us of hiding. And nobody printed any retraction to that story. And the fact of the matter is, we tried to get the judge kicked off the case for making all these prejudicial comments against us, trying to prejudice our jury pool. And the Supreme Court said, no, he's your judge, live with it. So, anyway, I digress, because I was going back. There's the judge who said, no, you got to keep your co-counsel on a short leash. That judge was blatantly pro-prosecution, embarrassingly so. And it wasn't fair. What he was doing was not fair. And so we asked this Judicial Review Commission to recommend non-retention, because we're supposed to be about justice, about seeking the truth, about convicting guilty people, and about making sure we're not convicting innocent people. And so we got that judge is no longer on the bench. So it doesn't matter who's biased on which side. I'm going to tell you if judges are doing something they're not supposed to be doing. Now, you know a true reformer, because a reformer is going to step on powerful toes, and a reformer is going to be attacked, and there's going to be every effort to marginalize a reformer, because when you step on powerful toes don't like it.